is awesome. You're gonna have the opportunity to sign up for one as you exit tonight. How many people have enjoyed the series we've been in, How to Live Pure in a Porn-Addicted World? Come on, we are continuing that tonight. And I have a friend in the house, and we've really known each other, I think, for like 13 years now. It's awesome. When I was a student, he was preaching to this youth ministry, and God's really used him over the last few years to study on this subject specifically. So we don't spectate to the Word of God. We actually participate. So I want you to take notes. I want you to open up your Bible. I want you to open up your mind with what God wants to do in your life. Are you excited for tonight? Are you ready for the Word of God tonight? Come on, I want you to help me welcome my friend, Sammy Smith. Come on, stand up on your feet, put your hands together, and make some noise.
What's up, youth? How's everybody doing? Man, isn't Pastor Ryan amazing? Literally amazing. We have known each other a long time. Man, how old were you back then? 16. I won't tell you how old I was back then. I'll just pretend I'm this old now. I love being here. I'm honored to be here. I love this church. I walked in these doors probably 14, 15 years ago, and I remember for the first time, I had never seen middle schoolers raising their hands, worshiping God. That was not the way I was raised. I didn't understand that. I was a Christian, but seeing that, I was like, this place is special. This place is different. And I believe people you could be anywhere tonight, you could be anywhere, any day, you could be, the whole world is trying to get you to worship other things. And you're in this room lifting your hands to a God who actually loves you. That's something that can actually change the world. And I'm so passionate about changing the world because the world needs some changing, I think, just a little bit. It's a little crazy out there. And we're gonna talk about some of that craziness tonight. My name is Sammy Smith. I been coming to this church, like 14, 15 years. That's crazy. Part of the reason Pastor Ryan asked me to come in is because I lead some groups with men who struggle with unwanted sexual behavior. It's really focused on pornography and sex and all this stuff that we don't like to talk about in church because it's uncomfortable. But tonight we're just gonna be a family. It's gonna be a family talk. Is that cool? Can I be part of the family? I haven't been here in a while. Is that cool? I like this nice family living room carpet. It's kind of slippery, actually. Hope I don't slip and fall. Tonight we're gonna talk about that. What purity, living pure in a porn-addicted world. Does the word porn just kind of like give you the chills a little bit? Like everybody wants to do it, but nobody wants to talk about it. Ugh, makes you feel weird. Have you seen on social media, everyone uses the corn on the cob now as like the emoji because they don't want to say it? It's fine. We're not going to use that. We're going to say it tonight. Tonight, I want to share some things. I want to share a lot of things. There's so much about this topic that is hush-hush, and it's uncomfortable, like we said, and also there's a lot of mystery. I know I lived for so long thinking sex and porn and everything was one thing, and then my eyes were opened because I got to hear some truth from some really amazing people, and because Jesus would not give up on me and the bondage that I was in. Because my story I'll share about a little bit later is very involved in this. So I want to share some stuff. It might be a little shocking. Some of you might be like, yeah, that's totally normal. But I know we're talking to a room of a lot of people in here tonight, a lot of different stories. We've got different genders, we've got different ages, we got different grades. I mean, do we have like 11-year-olds in here, 12, 13? 12 and 13, and then we've got 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so we've got a lot of people in here, and everybody's got a different story. You might have experienced this crazy sex culture in one way, and someone over here has experienced it a completely different way. You might say, well, that's not really a part of my story, maybe other people's. I guarantee you that porn and the way that the world views sex is impacting you, no matter how you've experienced it. Because isn't it kind of inescapable these days? Like you could be completely innocent, just swiping and scrolling, and boom, something hits you in the face. Because that's how accessible it is today. So if this isn't exactly your story, don't tune out tonight. Because even if it's not something you experience or whatever, I guarantee you also there's someone else that needs to hear this, that you're friends with, and that you can support. Because I'm sick of a world, and I'm sick of a church that's so disunified, especially in the guise of being hidden and being secretive about something that is actually a very real issue, and porn is. It's been so normalized, it's everywhere. I mean, every movie and TV show, it's a toss-up. You don't know, there's gonna be stuff in there. It's such a sexualized culture, right? It's inescapable, and unfortunately, I don't know if you know this, it's one of the biggest industries on the planet. I'm gonna share some statistics here in just a minute, but I wanna really start in this place of bad news. Here's some bad news about all of this. Are y'all ready? We're gonna share some statistics. I think we've got some of them, we're gonna put them up on the screen. The global pornography industry generates nearly $100 billion in revenue a year. 100 billion. Do you know how much money that is? That's a lot of money. I want just like one of those. One of those billion would be nice. Just one. I'll be a billionaire. Last year, there's a porn site with the highest traffic averaged in the world. I mean, it's like the most popular one. 5.5 billion visits in 1 month. 5.5 billion. And what, 900, do I have it? That many people, unique people. 934 million unique visitors in 1 month. In 2021, $3,000 was spent on porn every second. $3,000. I'd like just one of those. $1,000 would be nice. I'll just take that from me. More people watched porn than used Netflix, Amazon, and Twitter combined. 93% of boys and 63% of girls will be exposed to internet porn before they're 18. 93% of boys. That's basically everybody. This is an old statistic. The largest consumers of internet pornography are kids with the ages between 12 and 17. Those are the highest users. The average age of first exposure is 11 years old, average. Some people even say it's 8 in some studies. 8, average. That means lower sometimes. In 2019, 1.3 million hours of new pornographic content was uploaded. That's 169 years. Here's to kind of put that in perspective. If we went back to the 1860s and we took the videos uploaded that year and we played them back to back, wouldn't be done yet this year. Wouldn't be done. That is so much of this perverted content in our faces. And it's of an industry that makes billions and billions of dollars because there's a desire for it. And it's completely redefined our world and our culture. That is where porn is today, unfortunately. But I want to go kind of back to, here's where it came from. Up until about World War II, we're going to do a little history lesson. Anybody like history? A little bit. Anybody not like history? We're gonna do a little history lesson. Back until about World War II, America was kind of like a generally conservative, generally Christian nation. I mean, you can't really say that today. But up until that point, that's where it was. And there was a turning point right about the time that Hitler and World War II was happening. And this man named Alfred Kinsey changed everything. He was seen as the leading scientific expert on human sexuality at this time because in 1948, he released these research documents called the Kinsey Reports, okay? Now, I'm gonna say a few things that are pretty shocking. I'm not doing it just to be shocking, but I want you to understand that this is not just a random thing. This is not just, oh, this is kind of our culture. This was some very evil strategic stuff that we're living in today from back then. He claimed that what generally the world and America had claimed as immoral, specifically in the area of sex, was actually natural to the human and not bad, right? So he starts coming against this value that God had set up and that even America was generally in. His methods to collect his data, though, involved the rape of hundreds of children and even infants. Whew. And he employed, this literally sounds weird out loud, but I promise you this is documented. He employed Nazi pedophiles to find out this research and to prove his point. It's awful. That is where this comes from. And he published these reports. They went, what you could call back then, viral, and the whole world began to change. Specifically in America, he helped set the seabed for laws like, everything from sodomy, abortion, and even the legalization of pornography to happen. Did you know it used to be illegal? And then this guy's like, no, that's all natural, that's all good. And everyone's like, you know what? I kind of like that stuff too. Yeah, let's change everything here. And we're still living in the byproducts of that. This man was the father of the sexual revolution that I was completely unaware of. I've never heard of any of this until I did, and it's completely opened my eyes. We're still living in the results of this mid-century sexual revolution today. It's what we learn in school. It's impacting what we see online, our relationships, and specifically the identity of a generation and every generation since. And it's awful. So I know that was really heavy, but I didn't come here to just kind of talk and skip around stuff. I've lived through enough pain involved in this area that I was honored that you would ask me to come up here and tell you some truth. Because that's why I'm here tonight. I believe that the truth can set you free from bondage you might not even know you're in. And so if you'll hear me tonight, I want to take some lies that you might believe, you might not even realize you believe. I want to break them down, and I want to give you something so much better. So I want to clear up this lie. This is a lie. God wants to keep you from sex. Let's broaden it a little bit. Not everybody is involved with pornography, but sex involves just about everybody because we're sexual beings, right? God does not want to keep you from sex. If anything, the opposite's true. God created it. He loves it. He wants you to love it. He wants you to have it, just within very amazing, powerful boundaries. But God doesn't want to keep it from you. What he does want to keep you from is being broken. He wants to keep you from being bound up, and he wants to keep you from believing a lie. The world's definition of freedom is so different than God's definition of freedom. If you look at the way the world communicates freedom, it's do whatever you want. You should be free to make whatever choice. It's your body. Do whatever you want with it. I can't go down that road. It's you get to choose. You deserve to do anything you want. Whatever you think is best because it's your truth, right? I'm here to tell you tonight that kind of freedom will always 100% put you in bondage. It is a pseudo freedom that is fake, and it is a lie, and it's there to entice you into a life that will destroy you. That is the world's freedom. It's a lie. Look at this. Think about this picture. Imagine you have, let's say you have a dog, and it's a new puppy, right? Here, let's all take a deep breath. That was a little heavy. Let's talk about puppies for a second. I brought a puppy out here. No, I wish I did. That would have been awesome. Pastor Steve did that once. So if you had this dog, and it's a brand new puppy. Y'all know brand new puppies, they're just crazy, right? Like they need some training, but they're also so cute. Okay, you ripped up everything, but you're so cute, right? And have you ever had this scenario where you like accidentally left the door open, and what does that brand new dog do? Right? Running outside where, yeah, that dog could maybe be like, I'm finally free. I can just run. I'm not in the bounds of this house. I don't have a master. I don't have an owner. I can just be out here. It's hard not to think that dog is probably going to get himself caught up in something that is going to be destructive to his life. There's a road out there full of cars that he doesn't even understand. I see some really sad faces right now. It's a sad story, but that's also so many of our story. That we don't want to, the world is telling us, you don't need those bounds. Get out of the house. You don't need a master, a Lord, a God telling you what to do. Go outside, be free, do whatever you want. And we don't even realize that we're walking into traffic that could just mow us down. Now, let's take that same dog. Let's have a little bit happier story, but a different way to get there. Let's go to some doggy daycare. The good ones that like train, and teach this dog how to hunt, or learn how to, when you snap your finger, it's to attention and it comes over there. All of that. We've seen those dogs too, right? And you've ever seen the guy at the park and he takes the leash off and that dog's just like, what you need? I'm ready. Let's go. That's a different kind of dog. But that dog lived under boundaries. And what the world would say is rules and things that are holding you back. But one day that dog is going to have a mission, and the master's going to tell it to go, and it's going to know exactly what to do and be completely equipped and be a whole, dog, right? That came from the boundaries and restrictions of what we believe the Bible talks about. And I hope you see the parallel without me having to go any further. The world defines freedom this way, and it's destructive. God defines freedom this way, And it feels like bounds, but it's actually gonna give you all the freedom that you ever actually wanted and needed. And I'm here to tell you that because I know the bondage. I've been the first dog, unfortunately. And I've ran out into traffic over and over, and I got hit over and over. And I did it for decades. I am one of the statistics that were up on the screen. So a little bit about my story. I was in 4th grade, I think, and I was probably around 8 years old, and someone at school just said inappropriateword.com. And I was like, interesting. I should probably go see what that pulls up when I get home. And so I did. I went home, went on my dad's computer, our family computer, and I typed it in. Boom. My entire life changed. And I was 8. I didn't know it then, but it was a huge turning point. And it was full of all these other parts of my life. And it just became this defining moment because from then on, every chance I get, I'm looking and I'm gratifying myself as often as I can. And I did not know it was more than just being exposed and then choosing to follow up on that. And I'm also realizing as I get older, oh, everybody does this. All the guys. We all talk about it. Yeah, this is normal, whatever. I thought it was no big deal. And maybe a lot of you in here think that, yeah, those statistics are crazy and yeah, whatever, but is it really that big of a deal for me? Is it really affecting me? And that's what I thought. What actually was happening underneath and behind the scenes was I was learning how to isolate. I was learning how to hide, lie, live in the dark. I learned how to cope in a broken family poorly. I had a view of sex and purity and girls that was completely twisted and perverted. My self-worth was just disappearing, didn't even know it. And if you sum all of it up, I am now believing lies about myself because I just saw something online. Yeah, believing lies. And if the truth sets you free, lies keep you bound. So if it's not already obvious, porn is a problem. Porn is a problem. The big lie is that it doesn't affect anyone but me. And I would have said that for years and years. Nobody's around. It's me by myself. I don't have to talk about it with anybody. I can just keep it my little secret, keep it behind my back. It doesn't affect anybody. And I'm telling you tonight, if you believe that, it is a huge lie. And it will erode at your life. Now, aside from a few things that prove that this is a lie, like sex trafficking, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of pornography is driven by kids your age and younger who have been sold, like literally slavery, sold into basically being forced to make films. That's one thing. Another thing is this industry is massive. Don't kid yourself and think that even though it's illegal for minors, that they're not trying to get every minor to see it and be addicted to it so that they have a customer for life. Don't think that I'm gonna stop there. Also that the destruction nature of the relationships and what it will do to that is not there. The views that it will pervert in your mind that you might not even realize are drastic. So, okay, let's say that if it isn't a lie, or it's true that it only affects you. I don't know if you realize how much it only affects you. And what I mean is, this is going to become something deeper than you could ever imagine in your life, and the cost will be greater than you could ever try to comprehend. And the only reason I know that is because I've lived it. You might say it only affects me, but I know what it's like to be in church and feel like God doesn't love you. I know what it's like to be in a crowd and feel alone. I know what it's like to go home and you've got a family that's there, but you're completely disconnected. I know what that's like. And I know what it's like to live in shame, where you think, because I do this, I'm worthless. If anyone knew this about me, they would think I was disgusting. And look at me now, years later, on a stage with a mic telling you all about it in my own life. That's because I realized the power of living in the light and how destructive the dark is. I want to tell you right now, This is a safe place. I'm just gonna prophesy and claim it over this ministry, this youth, these leaders. This is a safe place to live in the light because nobody can survive in the dark. God doesn't want you to try to live in the dark because he knows how powerful it is, and that if you believe the lie that you can and you'll make it, you're gonna just get swallowed up in it. I also know what it feels like to feel like you can't get out and you can't get away. And for so long, I would believe that lie. It's just affecting me, it's whatever. And then I got married, and then it was affecting someone really closely to me, and then it really affected our marriage. And then I'm faced with counseling, and I'm finding any avenue that can help me. And I always, forever was like, well, I'll never be addicted. I'll never be like too out of control. I can stop whenever. And I remember sitting in front of a counselor, and she said, then stop. And it just hit me. I was like, well, I guess I can't. And the reality of something like an addictive, compulsive cycle just blew up in my face. So I know what that feels like, and that's bondage. And God does not want you to live in bondage. And bondage is not the end of the story. Porn is, by design, highly addictive. Let me just talk practical for a second. There's this really wild story about in the 1860s, back when we started playing those 169 years of porn. There was this story of these people tried to introduce a silk industry in America because there wasn't one. And they're like, we're gonna bring in these silk gypsy moths. We're gonna import them into America, and we're gonna start this whole industry. We're gonna get rich, right? So they started that, but didn't go as expected. These moths started to eat the forests, and they were exploding and just destroying the landscape. So it became this really big problem, and the scientists tried everything they could to stop it, but you can't just, grab a net and just go swipe up all the moths, right? So they tried everything. But they couldn't stop this like spread and whatever. So one guy came up with a really good idea that worked. They extracted the female scent from the female moth. The thing that when it's mating season, boom, the males they're on the lookout, right? It's like it's always mating season for youth, right? And thanks for laughing at that joke. They extracted the scent from the female, and then they synthesized it. They made like a fake version of it that was extremely potent, right? Like it would be irresistible to the male. And it was intense. And then they put it in these pellets and they threw it all over the forests that were being destroyed. Mating season comes around, all the moths die because all the males went for the synthesized fake version that was too irresistible to get away from. Nobody mated, and everyone died. Fascinating story. And here's what I'm trying to say is, porn is a thing happening to us, and it is killing a generation underneath. No, I don't think the human race is gonna die out, but this is a killer that is killing our generation and every generation that lives on the planet right now because it is so powerful and so potent, and it is designed to be addictive. So what do we do? Because that's a lot of really heavy information and real intense things that can be right in our face. But I didn't want to shy away from bringing you some reality and bringing you some truth tonight. To ask that question like, okay, maybe I'm in here and I know someone, or I am that person that struggles with pornography specifically, and I can't get away from it. You might have been told, and I'm gonna broaden it too to other things. Like, don't just make an exclusive to that, because this works for a lot of things. You might have been told this to try to help you. You need to pray more. You need to go to church more. If you were really serious about this, you would be free. You need to read the Bible more. Has anyone felt this or heard this, right? You have this pressure to be like a better Christian, and if you were, you wouldn't have this issue. You just need to try harder. You don't want it bad enough, and you just need Jesus to set you free. Now, stick with me because I know that sounds like heresy. The truth is, trying harder to just stop doesn't work. And I can say that with confidence because I've lived it. If you have it in your mind, yes, this is a problem, I have this problem, but I just need to work harder to get over it, it doesn't work. And there's some really significant reasons why. One is, porn is the new drug. It acts just like when I didn't bring them, but there are these scans of the brain, the physical brain of someone who's healthy, someone who's alcoholic, someone who's addicted to cocaine, and someone who's addicted to porn. And porn is the worst on the lineup. Holes in their physical brain and lack of blood flow, it's crazy. So to think that just working harder when something has happened in your physical brain is a miss. But there's something even deeper than that. When you get stuck in a cycle like this, like I have, and maybe like some of you have, it starts to change your beliefs, and it makes it really easy to believe some lies. You may have started to believe no matter what you do, you can't stop. It's too difficult. There's no way out. If you just hide it, no one will know. You'll just keep it to yourself forever. If you just give in, like maybe you should just give in. Like if I can't win, why do I fight? Does God even want me to be free? You start asking questions like, does God, if he doesn't, does he love me? God hasn't freed me yet, or at least I don't think so. Maybe he won't free me. There must be something wrong with me. And I think that's where I landed at a very young age. There's something wrong with me. There's something disgusting about me. Maybe I feel so alone in this, I can't get away. Maybe there's something that is just wrong with me. So I would get to this place over and over and over, because I've been a Christian since I was like 5, and I've been to all the church services, all the camps, all the conferences, everything. I've been down to the altar more times than I can count, and something just doesn't add up, because so many times I would have tears on the floor, and I am begging God to take this away. So why do I not feel like he did? Or why do I feel like he did in a moment, and then tomorrow I'm back doing the exact same thing? Now, I know not all of us deal with porn in here, but can you relate on some level? That feeling of like, why doesn't this add up? In John chapter 8, 31 through 36, it says this. Jesus said to the people who believe in him, "You are truly my disciples if you remain faithful to my teachings. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." "But we are descendants of Abraham," they said. "We've never been slaves to anyone. What do you mean you will be set free?" And Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth, everyone who sins is a slave of sin." Jesus just cuts it deep. A slave is not a permanent member of the family, but a son is part of the family forever. So if the Son sets you free, you are truly free. It is so good. But I would hear that verse, if the Son sets you free, you are free. Okay, either I'm missing something, Jesus isn't setting me free, or I don't know what the heck freedom is, because I think he does, and if he sets me free, I'm supposed to be free indeed, but I don't feel free. As we wind down here, I want to bring you this concept. You might be fighting the wrong battle. And here's what I mean. The problem with porn is that porn is not the problem. I know it feels like it and seems like it, and it causes problems, but it's a symptom. And I don't think I saw that for so long. I was like, this is a problem, and there's something wrong with me because I can't get away from this problem. I have every right intention not to do this, but I keep doing it. Y'all ever heard that verse from Paul? Paul's like, I don't do what I want to do, and I do what I don't want to do, but then he never gives an answer. It feels like he never does. He actually sneaks it in there, and I'm going to talk about that. But I would just get in that cycle, and I would just want to rip my hair out. Like, what am I missing? If Jesus, why aren't you setting me free? Why do I still struggle? It's because I was fighting the wrong problem, fighting the wrong battle. The way we often deal with porn or addiction or anything like this is usually like putting a Band-Aid on something that's a deep gash. Or like if you had cancer, like a disease that was eating you from the inside out, but you just took painkillers and hoped that it went away. That would never work. You might numb the pain for a few moments, but it would always come back because it never left. And that's what I realized, that I had something deep in me, infecting me. And porn was my drug of choice. It was the thing that I went to that made me feel safe, made me feel valued, made me feel secure, at least for a moment, until the painkiller wore off. And then I am right back to feeling low, to feeling shame and to feeling disgusting. It was just a drug. What's your drug? Maybe it is drugs. Maybe it's sex. Maybe it's relationships that have no sex involved. Maybe it's just feeling attractive. Maybe it's spending money. Maybe it's having the right clothes. Maybe it's being with the right people, being with the popular crowd. Maybe it's fill in the blank. What is your thing that you are using to cope with the pain that is actually infecting you deep down? I want to broaden it from porn just for a second because I want to hit everybody in the room. Every one of us has had wounds and battles that are going on deep down, deep in our minds. I mean, can everyone relate in this room, right? Those things are the real issue, not the stuff that we deal with on the surface. And if we just keep dealing with the feelings on the surface, like I just need to stop looking at porn, I just need to stop having sex, I need to stop doing this and doing that, it's like running over a weed with a lawnmower and you chop it off and everything looks good, but the roots are still there and it's gonna go right back. The problem is deep down, that there are wounds deep in you, in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit, that have caused you to believe a lie. And what do we know about lies? Lies keep you bound. Maybe some of those wounds were caused by an abusive parent. Maybe it was caused by an absent parent. Or for me, it was just a disconnected parent. Maybe it was something someone's done to you. Maybe it was a hurtful relationship. Maybe someone broke your heart or multiple people broke your heart and just treated you terrible. Maybe people said things about you that it's hard to not be like, is that true? Maybe they were right, even though they were terrible. Sometimes the world just throws things at us and life is just really difficult. I lost my sister a few years ago. That was a wound. It just came out of nowhere. That wasn't a decision I made or anyone else made. It just happened, but it left me wounded. Sometimes it's bad choices that we make and then we have to live with the consequences. But wounds cause us to believe lies if we don't know the truth. And when we believe lies about ourself, about our identity and who we are, we'll use anything to numb the pain. Can everyone relate to that at least? We will find anything to numb the pain. And that's where we find ourselves. But I don't want to just end on some bad news tonight. I have some good news. Does anyone want some good news? The good news is the truth will set you free from the bondage of the real problem, which is a false identity. What you think about yourself and how you see yourself, it's everything. Because there's a God in this universe who created you and said who you were. Let's go back to John 8. If the Son sets you free, you are truly free. Right before that, it says, a slave is not a permanent member of the family, but a son is a part of the family forever. I wonder how many of us in here tonight believe that we're a son of God. I know we hear it a lot. You're a son of God. You're a daughter of God. Do you really believe that? Do you realize what that means? Do you realize that did you know, never mind, I'm gonna go there. Did you know that piece of your identity is so important that it affects every area of your life? And I'm here to tell you tonight that I don't want to let the world tell you who you are anymore. I don't want to let you even tell you who you are anymore. I want you to get the real, true identity deep down in your brain so that you can start walking out of here with some healing on your wounds. So that you don't keep popping pills to just feel better for a moment. And even if that pill is coming to church just to feel better for one more week, I want you to walk out of here and every day walk around whole and victorious and free. But I want you to hear me. It comes from nothing else than a true identity. Not fixing your behavior, but deep down knowing who you are. So what is that truth? Who are we really? I want to do a little illustration, so I need a volunteer. I'm going to have Pastor Ryan come up. Y'all want to see a little illustration? You want to have some fun? I hope it's fun. I don't know if it's going to be fun. We're going to do a little illustration, and we got guys bringing out some stuff. So I had this picture in my head, and I wanted to illustrate it tonight. So they're going to bring out my box of goodies. Oh, look at this. Oh, man. Are y'all wondering what's in here? I'm gonna show you. All right, here's how we're gonna do this. That's you, okay? What is this? Are you sure? Trick question, it's a shoe, it's a shoe. Here, I'm gonna have Pastor Ryan hold the mic. This is you. You came out of a factory and a brand and a company said who you were, right? But the world comes in and wants to redefine that and say, do you really need that? Why don't we deconstruct a little bit those things that you've been told since you were a kid? Why don't we tear that down a little bit? Are you sure that God's actually good? Are you sure you even need those laces that they say are holding you together, are making you function? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Right? Okay, what is this? Still a shoe. Looks a little different though, right? Now, they're gonna say, you could probably afford to lose a little bit of weight. You know, you could trim a little bit of the fat off because that's what we actually want. Here, let's help you with that. Man, what about this area over here? You could probably afford to look a little better over here. Yeah, that's better. You don't need that anymore, even though it was a part of you and what God created you as. What is this? It looks a little different though, right? Let's see. How about this? Maybe you just need a little bit of makeup. Let's just change up your look a little bit. Let's make you a Nike. Well, that's a terrible Nike swoosh, but yeah, let's color all over you. Let's just change the whole look because what you would look better. You would be more valuable. I think you would be a better person, and we would all like you more if you had a little different look on you. What is this? Looks a little different though. Oh, let's try a different color. Let's just use some red. Yeah, because black and white was your thing, but I think this looks a little better. Yeah. That goes better. And we all love you more for doing this. Oh, wow, is it too much? Did we put too much new color on you? Do you look a little different? Man, maybe you should get rid of some more stuff. I can't do it. I'll just look like a fool. What is this? You don't need this. You don't need that. Let's just turn it up a little bit. Let's really poke some holes in that faith that you have. Y'all ready? I don't know how this is gonna go. Yeah, that's better. We'll just leave that there because it's pretty hard to get out now. What is this? Are you sure? Looks pretty different now. Here's what I'm trying to say. The world is gonna do this to you, and then they're gonna come in and say, well, we can fix that. Let's change it up. Man, oh my gosh, are you depressed? Let's bind that up. Do you feel sick? Oh my gosh, what happened to you? I'm so sorry. Let's try to fix it. What is that? Here's what I'm trying to say tonight. Wow, that looks terrible. God doesn't want to keep you from fun and sex and things that the world offers, except that He doesn't want you to end up like this. Now, there's something that is so much, I'm not here to tell you tonight that if you've had sex a lot, if you have sex tomorrow, if you look at porn, if you do drugs, if you listen to terrible music, if you cuss, if you are violent, if you gamble, all the long list of sins that we all are aware of. I'm not here to tell you tonight that if you do that, this is you and there's no way out. That is not the truth. What I am trying to tell you is God looks at this beautiful thing He created and He's like, I can't bear to see you live in this kind of pain because it's gonna hurt. And you're actually just believing lies that the world wants to offer you something and it's not gonna cost you anything. In actuality, it's gonna cost you everything. And it's gonna slowly drain you all of your life. But what I'm really here to tell you tonight is there's a man named Jesus who, when He looks at that, He says, I want that, and I love that, and I can do this to you, and I can make you new again. And it doesn't mean that you don't have scars. and things don't still hurt and there's still wounds, but I'm telling you, I can make you whole and I can make you beautiful. Not the way the world says it, but the way I say it. That no matter what you look like, no matter who you've been with, no matter what decisions you've made, you're mine and what are you? A shoe, and nothing could change that. That's still a shoe, and nobody gets to say otherwise because God made it, not you, not the world. We're gonna close, and I just wanna, why don't we all stand up? I hope I'm speaking to you tonight, and I know we're kind of honing in on porn specifically, but porn, if it really truly is just this surface level thing, which it is, we've all got a surface level thing. A thing that we can't get away from, a thing that the world has put on us, a thing that is keeping us locked down and in bondage that we might not have ever wanted to be in. But that is not how the story has to end. And it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It doesn't matter what decisions you've made. Purity is not a badge you have, and if you make a bad decision, you have to take it off. It's not a shoe that you can drill into and draw on and tear up. Purity is something that God wants you to have so you can live the most abundant life and be whole and victorious and free. Is anyone in here want a little bit of freedom and want a little bit of wholeness and a little bit of victory? That sounds like a good life to me.